Alright guys, Conor McGregor last night knocks out Jose Aldo. When I watched it, I was just like this, just like, really? I mean, it's just, I can't say I'm shocked. I'm not shocked, but it's just like, wow. It's just kind of reminds me of Fedor, like you just knocking guys out, and you're like, oh man, now he's got to go and fight, Arlovsky, and knocks out Arlovsky, and then just beats up Tim Sylvia, and you're just like, what is going on? Like, it's almost just like unbelievable. I can't believe that this is happening. And I mean, it's an amazing feat. Basically, when you see somebody doing this, they just keep. It's just like unbelievable. Like, you think like you see a fight actually taking place in your head, and you see a challenge, and then you picture how people can lose, and they come out there and especially after watching Chad Mendes, wrestling McGregor, and you just see Aldo come out and just boom, get knocked out, boom, just like that. It's like, I mean, could Conor McGregor even knock out some guy off the street that quick? Yeah, probably could, but maybe the guy in the street would duck the first punch. Like, I mean, if you told him go on the street and knock somebody out in the street, and you only have 14 seconds, maybe it would take him 20 seconds. You see what I'm getting at? This is supposed to be the greatest fighter, the number one pound for pound fighter in the planet, and knocks him out in 13 seconds. So or whatever, 14, I don't know, whatever. It's just an amazing thing to watch, and it's just unbelievable. And it's like, I mean, I totally believe it. We kind of expected that. I was just kind of like, let's sit back and watch and see what happens here. And that was me. I was just wanting to see what happens. And man, I sure saw what happened. So, so what's Conor going to do? I'm going to tell you what I think Conor should do. They were saying, he would vacate the belt and go to 155. Okay, that's retarded. I know retarded is not a politically correct word, but they should not do that. That's like Daniel Cormier is the 205 champion. In my eyes, he's not the 205 champion because he's not the best fighter. Now, that's because somebody is not, John Jones is not fighting, so it makes a little bit more sense. But to say, if Conor McGregor vacates the belt and then Max Holloway fights for the belt, and Max Holloway is the champ, I mean, it's like, well, you're not really the champ because Conor McGregor is fine and he's the champ. You have to beat somebody to be the champ. You're just making people the champ. I'm like, yeah, okay, they fought a fight, maybe it was Frank Edgar versus Max Holloway, and he beat Frank Edgar or something like that. But, in a way, that's fighting for the belt, but not really. It just doesn't seem right to say somebody's not the champ if they have not lost. If for some reason, he couldn't make weight, like I say, Conor showed up to a 145 fight and he couldn't make weight, he was off weight by 10 pounds. Well, then you could say, okay, he's not the champ because he cannot make weight, he can't fight at this weight class, but he always fights, he always makes weight, and he always fights and he beats everybody. So you can't just say somebody's not the best. It doesn't work that way. If someone's the best, they're the best. Even if they go, if someone went somewhere else to fight, if McGregor just quit fighting, or just say, well, I guess he quit, but if say McGregor went overseas to fight or something, he's still the best. We want to see the best fighters. That's what I'm getting at. We want to see who is best as fans. We don't want to see somebody holding a belt, and it doesn't matter if they're holding the belt. If you're not the best, then you're not the best. So I think Conor McGregor should stay 145 champ. And if they'll allow him to fight for the title at 155, come to 155 and fight. Because if he loses against Dos Anjos, I expect Dos Anjos to beat Cerrone. If he loses against Dos Anjos, he's still the champ at 145. So it makes a lot more sense. And I don't really think... And if he vacates the belt at 145, goes to 155, loses against Dos Anjos, now he's a 155er, I mean, there's a lot of people going to be hating on him. Oh, Conor McGregor, you're not this. Whereas if he's the champ at 145, if he goes and loses against Dos Anjos, which there's a good chance of that, guys. I mean, to go in and McGregor's a big guy, and I believe in Conor McGregor, but the 155 division is pretty tough. I mean, those guys are much bigger, they're stronger, and you know, they just flat out knock Conor McGregor out, because he does get punched, he gets hit, and you get hit by these bigger guys, and it just might be a wrap, you know? They're just gonna knock your guy out. The safest bet for Conor McGregor really would be to just stay at 145, because there's really nobody that's going to challenge him at 145. There really isn't. I mean, he could be the champ for a long time probably, but you know, karma is weird. This whole fight game is weird. You never know what's going to happen. Say he stays at 145 and say Frank Edgar comes in and beats him. You know, just wrestles him and just outscores him, or heck, maybe knocks him out. He just Frank Edgar just knocked out Chad Mendes. You never know. And then you say, so maybe Conor should go for broke. That's what I think he should do. Go fight at 155. Hey, you only got to win one fight. You don't have to. He doesn't have to climb any ladders. If they're going to give him a title shot, just walk into the division, give him a title shot. If he wins one fight, he's the champ. That's probably worth it. And he's a big guy. I mean, he's not going to be necessarily outsized. He's just not going to be fighting these tiny little guys that he just punches them and they fall. Are these guys at 155 going to fall like they're falling at 145? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see and find out. But that's what I think they should do. They should just let him be the champ. If you can defend, if somebody can defend the belt in multiple weight classes, then what's the problem? If for some reason they're not showing up to fights because they got injured in another fight, then I could see maybe stripping them of the belt. But we see these guys are champs. They go, heck man, GSP, that guy will go like a year without fighting. I mean, if Conor can fight, you know, and he says he wants to fight, which he should. He's 27 years old. He's in his prime. If he's going to fight 10 more fights in his career, you should fight these 10 fights while you're young, while you're healthy. And I mean, it's going to be just, you'll make a bunch of money, you know, and you know, why wait till you're really old? And heck, I don't really know what he's planning to do, but that's what I think he should do, is do that. The UFC should allow him to do that, and if he loses, like I said, he goes on 155 to fight for the title and loses, I don't think it's going to affect him at 145. Even if he gets exposed, say he gets wrestled to death. You show up at 155, these guys are bigger. Say they wrestle him to death and they grind out a win. That doesn't really expose him at 145, because these guys at 145, they're probably not going to be able to do it. I mean, Chad did a pretty good job, but it didn't work. He got knocked out. So anyway, guys, it's crazy. Just crazy to see. What's next for Jose Aldo? I don't know about you guys. I don't really care. I never really cared about Jose Aldo at all. You know, before this whole Conor McGregor thing, I just always knew Jose Aldo was a champ and whatever. And I never really was a big fan of the guy. I'm still not a fan of the guy. I don't blame him for hating Conor McGregor. I mean, McGregor's just talked so much crap about the guy and everything, and so I'm not surprised. After the fight, you know, even Aldo was like, well, that wasn't really a fight. He just still doesn't want to give Conor McGregor any credit. And I really think that's just because he just really hates the guy. The guy, you know, just said so many horrible things about the guy. The guy had never, you know, he hasn't lost in a long time, but and he's being criticized. You know, he's his champion. He hasn't lost in forever. And he's really being criticized and run down by Conor McGregor. Someone just talking about him, but, you know, But like I said, I never really was a big fan of the guy, so I don't really care what he does. And I'll see you guys later.